Today, raising the retirement age to lower the debt.
Hey, plant the knee!
Forget Greece and Spain. America now moving to make you work longer so Uncle Sam can shell out less in retirement benefits. But is the real answer to digging out of our money pit to throw out Social Security altogether? And do we really need to spend $500 million more to fight illegal immigration?
I've indicated that I don't approve of the Arizona law.
It's the president's $500 million Band-Aid for the border. But would letting states like Arizona enforce their own laws to kick out illegals be a cheaper and more effective fix? Plus, dollars and divorce. Why staying married could save our economy.
Let me clarify. I love my wife. I want her to be happy, but there are times.
One state now paying for marriage counseling, claiming it will actually save everyone money. Love may be grand, but should taxpayers really be paying out $1,000 when the spark fizzles out? All that, your money, your life, your show to stay ahead of the game. Cashin In starts right now.
First Greece, then Spain. Now U.S. lawmakers want to raise the retirement age to save the government money. And if you think that'll spark our own riots, wait till you hear this. Someone here says, forget hiking the age when you can receive a Social Security check. We should just get rid of Social Security altogether. Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Casoni, and welcome to Cashin In. Our Cashin In crew this week: Wayne Rogers, Jonathan Honig, Jonas Max Ferris, along with Tracy Burns, John Layfield. And joining us this week is radio talk show host Mark Levine. Welcome to everybody. Well, Jonathan, now you say forget the age. You think just scrap the whole plan. Is that even possible, Jonathan?
I hope so, Cheryl. I mean, Social Security is by definition a Ponzi scheme. I mean, it is Bernie Madoff on the largest scale. They lock you up for things like this. There is no savings, there is no investment, there's no ownership, there's no account with your name on it. There's just looting you today with the promise that they're going to loot, future generations on your behalf. We should find a way to transition out of it back towards not collectivism, but a society and a situation based on individual rights and personal responsibility.
You know, Wayne, Jonathan might be onto something here because, The Economist, I was looking at a survey, life expectancy for men, that'd be you, double from what it was back in 1965, and you look great, Wayne, so there's something to be said for us living longer.
Jonathan is not on to something. Jonathan is on something. He's smoking something that doesn't make any sense at all. That's about as politically reality as flying off to Mars. I mean, Jonathan, there's no chance that's not going to happen. You know it's not going to happen. People who've paid into this system are not going to give that money up. Right. That's just a crazy idea.
Find a way to transition out of it.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish. The best solution for this is the one that they're proposing, namely to stretch this out. Longevity has increased in the United States enormously. The time since retirement has doubled since 1965. People can afford to live longer. They can afford, therefore, to push this retirement age out 2 or 3 years at least, maybe longer. Maybe it should be even indexed to longevity so that everybody can experience the same thing, and then you can't argue with it.
But you know what? But let me go to Tracy Burns on this, because Tracy, over in Greece, they were talking about going from 61 to 63, and there was riots. I mean, can you imagine what happens in this country if we discuss 70 like Mark Rubio in Florida wants to do?
Cheryl, anyone in our generation is not even planning on receiving a Social Security check. If I get it, it's going to be my candy money when I'm 70 and I have no teeth. This is what's going to happen. I'm on the same drug Jonathan's on, I guess, because I think the whole thing should go. Transition people out. Cut off a date. 45 and under, no Social Security checks, so start planning. And you know what? If I put money away, a little money comes out of my paycheck every month, I want to know that I have that money. To Jonathan's point, I don't want it to be part of a Ponzi scheme. I don't want it given out or used to put new toilets in Congress.
I will say this, though, Mark. If you look at a state like Florida, $3.5 billion goes into that economy from Social Security. So they're actually benefiting from Social Security spending in that state.
When the Democrats were in charge, Social Security had no problem at all. Does anyone remember Al Gore's lockbox? I mean, Saturday Night Live made fun of it. The Republicans made fun of it. But the idea was really very simple. Take all the money that people pay in Social Security taxes and save it for Social Security. It's a crazy idea. And, of course, George Bush broke in the lockbox, spent it all on his buddies and oil and pharmaceuticals and 2 wars and tax cuts for the rich. If you just give the money back, Republicans, we'd have plenty of money. Give us the money back. Don't break into our lockbox.
John? Layfield.
I'm down here in I'm down here in Florida right now, where apparently George Bush probably had something to do with the oil spill, according to Mark as well, because he has something to do with everything else. This is President Eisenhower and his Congress are the ones who first got rid of this lockbox idea, because they thought this money would never be used because there was so much of it, and that now it has become a Ponzi scheme. When this has eradicated poverty among elderly people, this is a good thing. But there is no way. Tracy and Jonathan is right. There is no way this is going to be paid for. We are going to default on this debt.
No, we're not.
Right, well, we're not going to default on it if we deal with it at a normal time. We don't wait for the Greece crisis to happen. I mean, it's not really a Ponzi. It's a chain letter. It does require more people to be into it to transfer money to other people. The problem is it's completely manageable without raising taxes by pushing the age off. I don't see why this is such a big deal. You just keep moving the age off until it's funded by itself, and you don't have to raise the payroll tax. It does keep some people who aren't going to save out of poverty. And, you know, as far as the old people, there's not going to be rioting in the street if you cut older people's benefit, because they're too old to retire to riot anyway.
But that's the rub. What's always touted as a safety net, Cheryl, there is no safety, because at the end of the day, everything's up to bureaucrats. When you retire, how much you get, when it's paid. You know, where is the safety in a system like that?
You know what, Mark, let me tell you something here. Let me go to Mark Levine on this one, because, Mark, you know what? Most people my age, maybe a little bit younger, Tracy, I think, echoes my sentiment here. I don't think I'm going to have Social Security when I'm old and gray. I'm going to need something else.
Cheryl.
That's why I'm in the markets right now,
Cheryl,
Mark.
don't worry. The law says you're required to get Social Security. The only way you won't get Social Security,
Cheryl, pay into it right now.
Cheryl, the only way you won't get it is if Republicans are elected and they do what Jonathan wants and they end Social Security. Right now, the law requires them to pay you. And for all the years of Republicans stealing our Social Security money and spending on other things, it's okay with me if you fund Social Security as you're required by law to do.
This is a bipartisan mistake. Around the clock, everybody's to blame here. You cannot consistently blame Bush for all our faults at this point. It is so over. It is so over, and it's so tired.
We should respect
it's so
tired. You know, Wayne, I mean, the point really, that's a good point, though. It is on both sides of the aisle. You can't pick a party when it comes to the mess of Social Security.
That was a big difference, though. Let's not pretend there was no difference.
Gore Bush. Gore won a lockbox.
Both
Bush
parties
broke into it.
No. Mark, change your name from Levine to Levin, then we'd understand you. Anyway, you're right. You're absolutely right, Cheryl, in the following sense. Yes, it's unrealistic to do this. It's not going to happen. The Democrats and the Republicans are equally guilty of robbing the store. And the only way to correct this, Mark, you can shake your head all day long. You ought to turn it around. That's what you ought to do, because you're wrong. And the Republicans have done it. The Democrats have done it too, and everybody's doing it. It's not a party problem.
It's not the party.
Thievery that goes on. And Jonathan, I'm talking. We heard you. I know that. We know it's not the party. We've said that. And we've heard you. So here's what I am saying, though, that it doesn't matter which party is in. There is only one way to cure this, and Jonas is right. You've got to spread this age. You may ultimately be able to get rid of it, but in the meantime, that's the only political way that you're going to get this done.
Wayne, I tell you, man, the older you get, the smarter you get, the more feisty you get. I love it. Thanks to all of you. We're going to take a break. Folks, forget the protests against Arizona's immigration law today. Is it a money saver for all taxpayers? Why someone here says a new $500 million plan by the White House screams yes.